So I want to talk about that series on HBO Max called Avenue 5. Now, Avenue 5 is the name of a luxury space cruise liner that gets knocked off course when there's an accidental gravity inversion and the record-setting largest yoga session in space all winds up against one wall of the ship, and the momentum of that takes and knocks the ship off course. They, of course, wind up not being able to get back to Earth for something like 3 years, I think is what it is. Oh, did I mention this is a comedy? This is not a serious thing. Yeah, that's kind of important. So, yeah, Avenue 5 stars, and without him, this show would be nothing. I just have to get that out of the way right now. Without Hugh Laurie as Captain Ryan Clark, this show would be nothing. Without him, I probably wouldn't have even watched it to begin with, and I probably would shit all over it, because, let's face it, without Hugh Laurie and his deadpan humor, this would be nothing. This would be worthless. Come on now. I mean, so where do I even start? Oh, I did start though, didn't I? So yeah, ship gets knocked off course in the first episode. The rest of the series is them trying to figure out how to speed this return process up and how to cope with the extended trip that they're going to have. Now, like I said, you've got Captain Ryan Clark, who is the captain. He's the captain of the ship, but I guess he was involved in an incident involving Avenue 3. Doesn't really matter. We'll come to find that out in a little bit. I'll spoil that for you guys. Don't worry. You've also got now Chief Engineer Billy, played by Lenora Critchlow. Sorry if I butcher names here. And she does a fair job of keeping the reality in check on the show. I'm going to pause this for a second. Stoner, I can't have you in here, alright? You look like shit, or I'd have you on the camera. Out. You've also got a slew of other characters that also, without these varied characters, show wouldn't be the same. I mean, you've got Matt, the director of customer relations, who's kind of a moron. How he got in this role, nobody really knows, because he's a moron and he doesn't care about the customers he's supposed to be in charge of. You've got Karen, who is a what's the word I'm looking for? A credit to her name, let's put it that way. She is the one who's always in there trying to take charge. Let me speak to your manager. Always sticking her nose where, she is the Karen of the ship, and she actually winds up winding up doing Matt's job for him later on in the show, which everything turns out really good. Then you got her husband Frank, who is kind of a moron and is kind of kept by Karen, I think. And yeah, all these are stereotypes of real people, and it just works because we know people like this, and all you can do is laugh at them. I mean, then you got Spike, played by Ethan Phillips, I think who it was, the former Canadian astronaut with the ponytail, who's a bit of a, let's just say he's a bit of a freak. Who else we got? Oh yeah, you've got Herman Judd, who owns the cruise ship and the entire company that does this, who's a bit of an inept moron in his own right, and really doesn't think past 3 feet in front of his face, because he's one of these rich, greedy, CEO types, right? The only thing keeping him in check is his bitchy assistant Iris, who, yeah, she's just a bitch. I'm sorry. Deal with it. Good job, Iris. But the biggest thing that draws me to this comedy is, number one, it's nonstop. It's literally, there's no downtime in the comedy. There's no setup, really. I mean, there is, something really brief will happen, but then it's set up the rest of the comedy. There is not any, it's funny, and then, a bunch of stuff that's not. It's funny. No, this is just nonstop, one thing after another that is meant to be. And that's how it's supposed to be. A lot of shows try to do this, and in my opinion, don't. They can't pull it off. Like I said, without Laurie, without some of the other, without the writers. I mean, let's face it, I didn't look and see who does writing on this, but without the writers, they wouldn't have any jokes to say. Laurie wouldn't have anything to do here. I mean, this stuff is just, it's just dark dark as fuck. Let's just put it that way. I mean, for starters, we take our now dead chief engineer. We're going to give him a burial in space, right? That sounds, respectful and everything. He gets ejected out the airlock. Oh no, he starts orbiting the ship. So now every hour or whatever passes by this window, there's this, coffin with the corpse in there. He's later joined by, I think, 4 more that do the same thing. They get all spaced out. So there's these 4, corpses orbiting the ship. Every, so often another dead body will roll by the window. That's encouraging when you're stuck in space for, how many more months than you're supposed to be. Then there's the whole poop shield incident where, let's just say there's a rather tragic plumbing malfunction and sprays a nice ring of literal poop around the ship. Okay, that's funny in its own right? No, we're not going to stop there, though. We're going to have people imagine that they see the face of Pope John Paul II, I think, the good Pope, 1-2 previous popes ago. See his face in this poop shield, every so often when it comes around. And there's this cult following that starts to grow up. Then you've also got Judd, who says, hey, we're going to use this poop shield to improve morale, and we're going to set off a laser fireworks show and make that poop just absolutely sparkle. I mean, it's just like, oh my God, what? Then you've got the fact that we learn, and I'm going to make some spoilers here. It doesn't matter. If you're going to watch it, you'll learn it all anyway. So, that the crew of the ship is basically just a bunch of actors. All the buttons and stuff on the bridge that do stuff, they're nothing. They're fake. Oh, give me the steering wheel. It's like there's somebody that pushes that button to make that happen, but it does nothing. There's nothing going on. Everything is run by computer, which is why they can't fix this. Back on Earth, NASA is scrambling to fix this and having their own problems getting funding from the 2 presidents. That was kind of funny in its own right, too. The first president's like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. And then they get the second president, which is basically a computer or something and can't process context or anything. There's some higher level stuff going on here, and if you stop and think about it, you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? What else? The dark. I mean, you listen to some of these conversations that these guys have, and they just throw stuff out there that on the surface maybe doesn't seem so dark. I'll put a couple of clips here.
Iris, give it to me straight. What does this mean?
If Harrison sues, we get no rescue money. So why don't we have Ryan schmooze him at the captain's table and talk him out of it?
Wait, okay? Wait. What if we have Ryan invite Harrison to the captain's table to schmooze him out of it?
Yep, you fixed it.
Well, exactly. I'm not clever, but I look as if I should be. Matt! Maybe I should shave this off. It's giving me delusions of wisdom.
Actually, you can't. Beardedness is stipulated in your contract. Matt!
Ryan, Judd.
What the fuck have you been doing?
Just, having snack attacks and shrieking.
You're not here. You're not even hiding.
Well, we're all hiding. I'm hiding. You're hiding.
You are.
What the hell was the void?
My empty tummy.
Oh my God. That makes so much more sense than a random white room with a big fan.
Okay, well, Matt, we need the airlock codes.
No. I've been itemizing my thoughts. Thought 309. Every year we pass the pre-anniversary of our death, but we don't even know it, so we don't get presents.
Seriously, Matt, we need the codes now. So
Thought 14. Poor octopus. 8 arms, but no hands. Fuck you, Cod.
I need you to hook me up.
What do you need? Synthetic veal, porno, mint jelly?
All of them, if you can.
Jesus.
But first, I actually want lots and lots and lots of sedatives.
Like, my area of expertise is pretty limited. It's basically recreational barbiturates, Eastern sex practices, Christmas music. But I do know suffering, and you're suffering. So I just need a little bit more information to make sure I'm not causing more harm than I'm fixing.
I was bullied at school.
Was it your ears?
What? No. What do you mean? What's wrong with my ears?
Nothing. But that is what I would go in on if I was bullying you. I'd make you self-conscious about something that isn't even a thing because it makes you question your sanity. Ain't that right, you jar-eared Dumbo fuck?
It's
brutal.
Yeah. You're right. I hate my ears. Yeah. Sedatives?
I mean, look at you. You're like a gimp on a leash right now. Mm-hmm. You'd do anything for these drugs.
Anything.
And if I don't give them to you, you're probably going to go below decks and get them from the guys down there, but you're going to have to sexually humiliate yourself.
You are so good. You're right. I was this close to going down there and showing someone my bottom. Oh, one more fun thing. Remember Johan, Portuguese, tall, dead, out there?
Yes.
Well, his arm froze and the top part shattered, and now his hand and his elbow are orbiting his coffin.
Wow. Come on, even you've got to admit that space is pretty fucking cool sometimes.
Is it? Apparently it's frightening the children, also the women, also the men.
Yeah, I mean, see what I mean? It's just funny. I'm sorry, this is just funny. And it's not only funny, but it's not stupid. Now, I don't know if I did a video on this or not. I may have. Yeah, I think I did. On Resident Alien, I did not watch that show because I thought it was stupid. I thought the humor was lowbrow and not smart and just, oh, you got drunk. You know, it's really hard to put into words here what I'm talking about. There is smart humor and there's dumb humor. And to me, Avenue 5 is smart. Resident Alien is not. Resident Alien is actually Beavis and Butthead, you know, going on there. Oh, you said taint. You know, that kind of stuff. It's just like, no, that's really not funny, but, you know. But at the same time, yeah, this kind of is crappy bathroom humor. It's just people, you know, yeah, at times it's just people swearing, and yeah, there's literal shit flying around the ship, so I guess you could say it's, you know, bathroom humor, but there's more to it, more under the surface there. You gotta kind of look past some things there, and you can see just how dark the show is under the surface, and it's really wicked. Now I watched this originally last year about this time, and that was right when season 1 was ending. I was like, oh, this was so cool. I caught it right at the end, and there was announcements that yes, a season 2 is coming. Unfortunately, like that week, this whole pandemic crap hit. Haven't heard a single word. I've even searched before I wrote my review for the site and did this video. There's nothing out there on season 2 of the show. The HBO page, not the HBO Max page, but the HBO page for the show says, like in a little blurb under an image, you know, season 2 or something like has been renewed for season 2. And that's it. There's nothing else. So I don't know when this is actually happening. I don't know. They need to make another season of this because it's really freaking hilarious. It's not for everyone. I'll give you that. There's, you know, the humor is kind of, the word's esoteric, I think. It's a little, like I said, it's a little dark, it's a little raunchy at times, and it's just a little bleak, and the word's dark, isn't it? There's no other good word for that. It's just dark humor, and I love dark humor. If you don't, you're probably not going to like this show. I liked this show enough to give it a 3.7 out of 5. I mean, I went that high with the show. The production value is really, really good for just a crappy comedy. I mean, it really is. This, you know, you've got some nice wide open sets. They're really well designed, I think, to convey this, you know, it almost reminds me, and I don't know if this is on purpose, it almost reminds me of the cruise ship from WALL-E, the inside of it. It really does remind me of that. It's, you know, and there's other parts of this that you just kind of laugh at, you know, the whole corporatization of everything on this ship, the Judd Light beer. There's some other things that, you know, Mr. Judd is in charge of that you just, yeah, that's pretty cool. If you like dark humor, give it a shot. If not, give it a shot anyway. You might like it. Hugh Laurie is a madman, and I love him, and this has been Sci-Fi Review.